And the United States President Donald Trump has filed a $10 billion lawsuit against the BBC.
Now, this comes as the national broadcaster edited clips of a speech that made it appear that Donald Trump directed supporters to storm the US Capitol. Take a listen to what Trump said last night.
In a little while, you'll be seeing I'm suing the BBC for putting words in my mouth, literally. They put words in my mouth. They had me saying things that I never said coming out. I guess they used AI or something. So we'll be bringing that lawsuit. A lot of people are asking, when are you bringing that lawsuit? Even the media can't believe that one. They actually put terrible words in my mouth having to do with January 6th that I didn't say.
Well, joining us now is our national reporter, Charlie Peters, outside BBC's Broadcasting House in central London. Charlie, good afternoon to you. I think many of our viewers and listeners will be pretty annoyed if licence fee payers' money is going to Donald Trump.
That's right, Cameron, and the language being used by the White House today is trying to appeal to our audience and indeed to the people of the United Kingdom, because the press secretary, Caroline Levitt, has said that this purposefully dishonest and selectively edited clip by the BBC is further evidence that they are total 100% fake news that should no longer be worth the time on the television screens of the great people of the United Kingdom. Now, whatever one thinks about the merits of the president's case against the BBC and the errors that they have apologised for in that selectively edited clip from Panorama, that is an extraordinary intervention from a press secretary of the most powerful nation on earth, telling the people of the United Kingdom essentially what they should and should not be watching, telling us that the national broadcaster is not worth our time and that it is 100% fake news. A charge that obviously the BBC would totally reject, and I think also most of the BBC's major critics would also reject. I think there is perhaps a sense that the Trump administration are starting to push their hand a little too far and being perhaps a bit too open about their real motivations in this case, because commentators and experts reacting to this lawsuit have started to say that this isn't really about the money or even really about Donald Trump's reputation. They allege that the lawsuit is being launched because it is a defamatory, deceptive and a malicious edit from that Panorama programme. But other experts are saying that perhaps the real intention from this White House lawsuit is to perhaps shift the tone and the coverage of the Trump presidency by the BBC. Legal pressure and a lawsuit is certainly one way to bring them to heel.
There's nothing more important than keeping your money and your identity safe online. And with so many VPN options available, choosing the right one can be pretty daunting. But this video's sponsor, ExpressVPN, is making the choice easier for GB News viewers. ExpressVPN is offering up to 75% off, plus 4 extra months free. That's top-level security from just £2.49 a month, and you're covered by their 30-day money-back guarantee. So just click the link in this video's description or scan the QR code now. Remember, when you're online, you are often sharing personal data, so hackers can steal your information, your passwords, your photos, and your bank details in just seconds. But ExpressVPN encrypts your connection, making it virtually impossible for hackers to access your personal information. So why choose ExpressVPN? Well, it couldn't be easier to use. With just one click, you are protected. And ExpressVPN uses military-grade AES 256 encryption, which is the same standard trusted by the US government to guard their classified information. With their new tiered plans, you can protect up to 14 devices at once and manage passwords securely. Live chat support is available 24/7, and it typically connects you in under a minute with a real person. Click the link in this video's description or scan the QR code to get up to 75% off ExpressVPN, plus 4 months extra for free. Start protecting yourself today with ExpressVPN.
The president does have a recent track record of settling lawsuits with major American broadcasters, including ABC and CBS in the United States, in reaction to comments that were alleged to be defamatory there, and false accusations being made by a host, and also due to some edits that made his former opponent for the presidency, Kamala Harris, appear more coherent than she actually was. Those lawsuits both being settled, and it's likely, many legal and media commentators are saying in this case, that is likely the way it'll go, that the BBC will settle, that Trump will also perhaps want to settle, and for him, perhaps the money is secondary to the political impact that this lawsuit will have. Speaking this morning, we have heard from an American journalist saying that, in fact, one of the downsides to fighting this litigation, the BBC have said in a statement that a spokesman has said that they will defend the case, but if they fight the litigation extensively in the courts in Florida, it could open them up to serious powers of discovery that would be awarded to the president. That would allow Donald Trump to look into the emails, the files, and the correspondence of BBC executives and workers between the studios that produced that documentary on Panorama, and then those who approved it back here at the BBC's headquarters. That would be potentially extremely damaging for the BBC's reputation. It's highly likely they don't want those emails or any correspondence that could paint them in an unfavourable light coming to public. But those would be the powers likely provided in the US court system, which isn't very generous to those who are appealing for libel. The US courts generally side with free speech, and there is also the additional obstacle for Donald Trump's legal claim, which is that information and programmes produced by the BBC are intended for British audiences. One major hurdle that Trump's legal team will have is to prove that this malicious and defamatory and deceptive programme that they have described it as could be seen by people in Florida and indeed across the United States. But as part of the document that was filed in the Southern District in Florida yesterday in their courts, the legal claim does outline that they believe that Floridians could have seen the programme via accessing it on a specific streaming service, and also that it could have been accessed via VPNs, virtual private networks, which allow people to position their IP address in the United Kingdom, therefore bypassing the geo-blocking software that the BBC and other broadcasters use to prevent information and programmes that the British taxpayers pay for being consumed outside of the United Kingdom. That's what it comes down to, Nana and Cameron. When the BBC, if they are pushed to settle in this case, it's us who'll have to pay for it. And Caroline Levitt, the White House press secretary, saying today the BBC is not worth the time on our screens. It'll be interesting to see if that intervention, very stern, perhaps going too far, will now invite a stronger political reaction from other attendees.
All right, Charlie Peters, thank you very much. Charlie Peters outside the BBC. Of course, Donald Trump threatening to sue the BBC is going to go ahead with it. Look, I'm OK with taxpayers' money, or my licence fee payers' money, going towards Donald Trump if it means that the BBC will learn a lesson, because otherwise licence fee payers' money will be going towards a court fight. So, to me, I just think, well, someone needs to teach them a lesson. They can't be doing that. They're damaging the reputation. It's very irresponsible of the BBC to do things like that, because it reflects on us as a nation. Yeah. And then somehow they need to be punished for it.
Yes, and of course, the Director General and Head of News both resigned over this. But a BBC spokesperson said, as we made clear previously, we will be defending this case. We are not going to make further comments on ongoing legal proceedings.